I've made this video to help any man in his late 20s or 30s, helping him rewrite that next chapter in his life. And I thought I'll do a whiteboard presentation, just something different so I can explain myself in more detail. So let's get straight into it. Now, this is exactly where you're at, right? HP being halfway points. Even if you're in your late 20s or early 30s, or even your 30s, right? This is the halfway point in life. And if you follow me all the way through to here, this is death. But I want you to focus right now on this, right? This is your 20s. So this is when, we thought we were invincible, right? We had higher test levels. We didn't really think that life would happen so fast, right? We thought we were going to be young. We thought we'd worry about things when we reach our 30s. And now we're at this halfway point currently, right? So in your 20s, you more than likely chased pleasure right through vices, whether that was alcohol, weed, porn, junk food, partying, whatever it might be, right? So vices was something that you more than likely indulged in. Mistakes, right? In our 20s, we would have made a lot of mistakes, right? Maybe getting yourself into wrong relationships, maybe long-term relationships. That's personally what I did. I got myself into relationships at a younger age without, building my purpose, without striving for more. And that's something a lot of men do face, right? But on the flip side, there are also men who haven't had experience with women, right, in relationships, and that's perfectly fine. So you would have just spent your 20s, either in relationships or not even in relationships, maybe social circle, right? Feeling pressured to hang around certain people, right? Having the wrong role models in your life, the wrong social circle. You found that you were more than likely people pleasing, right? And you may be indulging in vices with this particular social circle, right? Trying to fit in, trying to be cool with your peers. And that's generally what I did myself, right? I would hang out with guys, they would party, they would do drugs, they would drink. And that was literally my social circle in my 20s, or majority of my 20s. Now, comfort zone is something that a lot of us stay in, right? We stay stuck in our comfort zone in our 20s. We might just stay stagnant in a career, right? Or a job that we just don't really like, but we're just going to work, making our money, we're spending it on materialistic items, spending it for the weekends, right? Living for the weekends, and just staying stuck, right? We don't really want to exceed that barrier. We stay kind of stuck in what makes us feel comfortable, right? So we're not taking the right calculated risks in our 20s. And that then leads to, obviously, as I was saying initially earlier, life, right? Having that attitude. We'll worry about life later, right? When we reach our 30s, we'll start worrying about the direction in life. We'll take life a bit more serious in our 30s, right? That's personally what I felt in my 20s. I was like, no, I've got a bunch of time, right? When I reach my 30s, then I'll start taking things a bit more serious. For now, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to party, just going to indulge in vices, and I'll just take life as it comes, right? Life didn't feel very stressful in your 20s, let's face it, because in your 20s, you feel young, you feel invincible, you got high testosterone. So there's not much pressure, right? And you're at a position where you more than likely, don't have children or anything like that. So you don't have much responsibilities. It's kind of like you live with your parents, you go to work, and you just sort of live this life where it's not very, how do I say this? There's not much implications, right? Like there's not much things that can go wrong because you're very safe, you're very comfortable, and you've got a job, and you're more than likely just, you're doing okay, right? You're living at home, there's not much bills, right? So you're not really living in so-called reality, right? Where you're responsible for looking after someone else, a family, paying bills, all these things. So in your 20s, it's literally the fun stages of life, I would say, right? But at the end of the day, those decisions that you make in your 20s is going to have an effect on your 30s, right? And that's what we're going to get into now, which is living an average life. And you might ask, how do I know this? Me personally, an average life is what I was living, right? I'm 36 right now as I make this video, and I literally changed my whole life around 2 years ago, right? So age 34. So for those of you that are in your 30s, stuck, I'm telling you right now, I'm a living example that you can transform your life as long as you, do the right or follow the right blueprint to rebuild yourself, right? Which we'll get into towards the end, so stay with me. But more or less, an average life is what I was living. Also, the clients that I coach personally, they're also in this position right here as well, right? So this is a problem that a lot of men are faced with because of their 20s, right? Not having the right guidance, the right role models, the right directions, not having purpose, all these things, right? So you end up just automatically falling in this category because of this. So let's go into the average life, right? Because if you don't make the conscious decision to change, this average life here, right here at the halfway point, will be the life that you're going to be living until you die, right? Because nothing's going to automatically change in your life. And it's sad to say this, but this is what's going to happen to a lot of men, right? Because a lot of men are not in a position where they're able to, forcefully change themselves for the better because they're stuck, right? And they're stuck with what I like to call the fear mindset, okay? The fear mindset is literally you being stuck, right? Scared to take risks, scared to take chances. Your whole perception of the world is trapped by fear. So every decision you make is fear, right? You think investing in yourself is, you're judging that decision based on fear, right? You think everything might be a scam. You might think that the world is a nasty place, right? All these things, I can't do this, right? You're trapped in that limited belief system, right? And that's that mindset, fear and scarcity. That keeps you trapped in your comfort zone, right? And stuck from taking risks, moving forward, trying to better yourself. That's why you stay in the same position that you're at, right? And when you think about it, if you look at your life for the last maybe 1 to 2 to 3 years, there hasn't been many real changes, right? Other than maybe you going to the gym. But other than that, your whole life altogether as a whole, nothing has really progressed, right? You're stuck in the same position. It's because of this mindset. And that was exactly what I was trapped in, right? And that correlates also with this here, this line here, which I'll go into a bit later. That will make a bit more sense. And I hope you can read my writing, by the way. But anyway, let's continue. So now with that fear mindset, not taking those risks, right? Because you feel an empty void inside, because you don't have purpose, what's going to happen is you're going to start, chasing pleasure. Your brain's going to want to seek some sort of dopamine, right? It wants to feel alive again. It wants to feel that instant gratification. So what happens is you start relying on pleasure, right? And you're going to turn to some sort of vice, right? So vices come in different shapes and forms, right? It can be, chasing women, drugs, alcohol, porn, junk food, materialistic items, buying, cars on finance, clothes, shoes, whatever it might be, right? So you'll be chasing pleasure through vices because you're feeling empty inside. You don't have any purpose. And when we chase vices, and we know deep down that whatever we're doing when it comes to a vice, we know that it's obviously not good for us, but it makes us feel alive. It makes us feel better than the current state we're feeling, right? So let's say hypothetically, you work your job Monday to Friday, you don't really like it, but then the weekend comes and you want to indulge, you want to spend a bit of money, you want to feel good, right? People call it even retail therapy, right? Go shopping, feel good, buy something, buy the latest gadget, right? Just to feel alive. And then you'll notice that after a couple of days, you're back to square one. You still feel empty inside, right? So that leads to frequency, and the frequency or the negative frequency that you're going to feel, or the low frequency emotions, are shame, guilt, anger, resentment, right, towards yourself. It just feels like something's missing and you feel empty. You're not fulfilled, right, because you're chasing external things to fill that empty void inside, right? That might even be relationships as well, because me personally, I used to do that, right? I felt empty inside. I didn't have purpose. So I'd get myself in relationships and everything would be amazing at the start, right? That honeymoon period. But eventually, once that honeymoon period died off, because I wasn't chasing anything more in my life, I wasn't being successful, I'd feel very empty, right? And that would then lead me from that relationship to vices, right? To doing drugs, to drinking, to buying clothes, to all these things, right? It never ends. So you're going to pay the consequences with these low frequency emotions. So that's pleasure. Now let's talk about health, right? In your 30s, you're no longer operating with that higher test levels anymore, okay? And if you're someone that didn't really maintain his health in his 20s, in your 30s, you're probably going to be in worse shape than you were in your 20s, right? So your test levels in your 30s as a man, when it reaches approximately 35, your test levels start decreasing. So you're going to notice that you're going to feel a lot more tired. You're not going to have that sort of attitude where you're going to want to do things a lot more. You're going to feel a lot more, tired, mentally drained, all these things, right? Because of the lower test. And the health's also impacted from a poor diet, right? When we start eating junk food, when we eat foods that are, I like to say, not made for human consumption, right? Like takeaway, all these saturated fats, all of these things that can give us cancer, that can literally kill our internal state, our emotions, everything like that, right? So your health right now, living an average life, is at a very low point. Okay, you're more than likely overweight. And because of your health not being where it needs to be, right? Even your physical health, that then now affects your mental health, right? So your mental health is affected because of these reasons, because you're not looking after yourself. And you got to understand, right? Your body is a temple. You got to respect your body. You got to respect your body by ingesting the right foods. When you let that go, and I'm only speaking by personal experience, right? I let my body go. I neglected my body in my 20s, right? I would train maybe twice a week in the gym, but my habits, my lifestyle choices, all these things were impacting my physique, my health, right? And that would then affect my mental health as well as a byproduct. So that then leads to feelings of, anxiety, depression, stress, right? And that's what you're more than likely going to experience because you've let yourself go for so long that you're now in a position where you just don't feel good anymore internally. Externally, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're not proud, right? You've disrespected your body for so long that you're going to experience these mental side effects as well. That's part of the process. That's personally what I experienced myself. So I started to properly dial in with my nutrition, my fitness, everything like that when I was approximately about 31 years old, right? 31, 32, I went all in and I had to work twice as hard. I had to be twice as strict with my diet, everything. Why? Because I let myself go for so long that I had to work twice as hard, okay? And I'm so grateful I was able to change that around, right? Make myself fit, make myself healthy, look after my mental health. Because now I'm in a position where I just maintain, right? But I had to play a lot of catch up and I had to put in a lot more work because I let myself go. But more or less, these side effects here, anxiety, depression, stress, being overweight, all these things is going to lead to medication, right? You're going to have more trips to the doctors. Think about it. When you reach your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, you're going to be someone that visits the doctor frequently, right? And you more than likely might be in a position where you're going to need medication for your depression that you're going through, right? The stress that you're going through, maybe your blood pressure's high, all these things, right? You're going to need some sort of medication to combat this because you let yourself go so much, right? And I'm going to make a separate topic on health for, men in their late 20s, 30s in one of the up and coming videos. So it's on my list. But more or less, you're going to go on medication. And when you're at this point, right, you're going to have a psychological dependency on this medication. It's going to affect your abilities to perform on a daily basis, right, mentally. Because you didn't put in the work to fix yourself, you have to rely on a tablet to fix you, right? So now you're dependent on these things because you let yourself go. So I'm just raising awareness here, but more or less, that brings me to our next point, which is relationships, right? Living an average life, it's going to go two ways. You're either going to get yourself in a relationship with someone who's a very low value woman, right? And because you've got an empty void inside, like we were talking about earlier, that person's going to be the sole focus in your life, okay? That's if you're able to even get in a relationship, okay? But more or less, if you get in a relationship, let's say with a low value woman, you're going to have this empty void inside. When you get in the relationship, everything's going to be okay at the start of the relationship. And then as the relationship progresses, you're going to lose your frame. Why? Because you don't have any purpose. You're not striving for more. You're just living a very average, mundane life. And women are attracted to leaders, right? So she's going to obviously be in a position where she's either going to cheat on you, she's going to leave you, or she's just going to lose her genuine desire, right? One of those three things are going to happen. So that's if you're lucky to get yourself in a relationship. But on the flip side, this is more than likely, realistically, what's going to happen, right? Just judging by the way that the future's going, men are going to be lonely, okay? You're going to be in a position where you're lonely. You're going to be single for the rest of your life. You're not going to be able to procreate and have a family. And you're not going to leave a legacy behind. Okay, so understand that. And think about this, man. When it comes to your time to go, right? When you're at your funeral, or when it's your funeral, sorry. Could you imagine that you've got no family there, no kids there? There's no one really at your funeral, right? And I don't mean to be negative, but I'm just speaking facts, right? There's probably going to be about 5 people there, maybe your close family members, and that's about it, right? And you literally didn't leave that legacy behind, okay? That's all because you're living an average life. So this life, when you think about it, is just a life of suffering. It's a life of, feeling depressed, poor mental health, being overweight. Like, this is literally no way to live. And this can happen to you, right? This was going to happen to me until I made that conscious decision to go all in, to recreate myself, right? Rebuild myself, because I just envisioned the next 10, 20, 30 years being very sad, depressed, right? With poor mental health. And that literally scared me, right? That gave me that burning desire to make the right change, to make the right changes, to go all in, to rebuild myself, recreate myself, change my lifestyle, change my habits, right? So this could happen to you, but that's why I'm raising awareness. Now, career and lifestyle for an average man is working just a mundane 9-to-5 job, a job that you hate. Your manager doesn't really respect you, right? You dread coming to work. You wake up roughly 1 hour before work, and every day your routine is the same every day. Okay, so you kind of hit that snooze button. You wake up, you're late, you get ready, right? You kind of miss breakfast, and you just head straight to work, right? You're rushing to work if you're driving, right? You're always rushing. You're in a bad mood. When you get to work, you're still tired. You need a coffee to wake up. So you have that 9-to-5 life, right? You're trapped in a job that you don't like, okay? And at this point, you're not in control of your life, okay? You're not happy with the job that you're doing. Life's controlling you. You're not in control. And this is very dangerous, right? To be in that particular position. And this is where it gets more deep. You're gonna have to be very frugal with your money, right? Because you're not making enough money, because you haven't strived for more, you don't have purpose. You've kind of capped yourself at a job that's keeping you like stuck in your comfort zone, right? So you're only just getting by. You're just paying the rent. You've just got enough to eat noodles, buy cans of tuna. And there's nothing wrong with cans of tuna, but I'm just saying it's just canned food that you're eating. You're not eating whole food, organic food, healthy sort of food, right? You're not eating anything like that. So everything's all just allocated to a certain budget, right? You've got this much for rent, this much for a bit of food, this much for a bit of your vices, and that's your life. And that's going to be the remaining chapter of your life, right? If you don't change, your life around, right? Living a life filled with purpose. This is exactly what's going to happen to you, right? And that fear mindset is what's keeping you trapped here, right? That fear mindset that we talked about earlier. And this is no way to live, right? Just living penny for penny, just having enough to scrape by, borrowing money off friends. You don't want to be that way, because let's face it, as the economy is just going and the wage is staying the same. So you've got to think about it. You're going to be really left behind if you don't focus on rebuilding your life, right? Rebuilding yourself, all these things. So pay close attention. Let this in, okay? Because I'm only just speaking reality. I'm speaking facts here. I'm not trying to make anything up. This could potentially happen to you. This was potentially going to happen to me, right? But I had to make the conscious decision. So just let this sink in and understand that you don't want to be in this position, right? And the position that you want to be in, and I'll be totally honest with you, this is the best way to live as a man, is a life filled with purpose. Now, when you live a life filled with purpose, that mindset that you have is going to be self-love, abundance, right? You're going to be striving for more. You want more out of life. You're not going to settle for less. And that then allows you to take more calculated risks, right? Forget your comfort zone. When you have purpose, you're a go-getter. You're striving for more. You're up early. You're hungry for things, right? You've got this ambition, this drive, this fire inside. So that allows you to take the right calculated risks, right? You think more or less, what's the smartest move on the chessboard here, right? For this particular risk that I want to take. Is it going to benefit me moving forward? Is it going to bring me success? Your goals, you're going to be able to reach your goals, right? You're going to be more goal driven because you're already that character. You're living a life filled with purpose, abundance, that you're going to want to just keep reaching goals, right? And that's going to be literally tied into the next thing, right? Your pleasure is, or your happiness, your pleasure, all these things going to stem from you being successful, you reaching your goals, you helping other people, all these things, right? Striving for more. This is where you feel good. Your self-esteem goes up, right? Because you're being the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, all three are aligned. And you've got purpose, right? You're not stagnant, you're not stuck, you're striving for more. So your happiness comes from just leveling up all the time, learning new skills, reading books, finishing certain tasks, right? So that's what I'm trying to get at here, is the more tasks you complete, the more goals you hit, the more skills you learn. You just want to keep learning, right? You have this mentality where you're like, I'm a student for life. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to get better at this, right? I want to start a business. I'm going to do this, right? You're more than likely going to get those things done because you're that right person internally. You're that right character to get that done, right? So you're going to be striving for more, and you're also going to achieve more because you have this perception where you understand that you're not in it for the quick term gains, right? You're in it for the long run, and you know that you're going to get 1% better every day as you keep showing up, learning, and that will just compound over time. So vices won't be in your life, right? There won't be any vices. The frequency that you're going to experience will be high frequency emotions, right? Self-love, gratitude, inner peace. Why? Because you're showing up for yourself. You're striving for more. You're not cheating life. You're not taking shortcuts. You're playing the long game. And that's where you start feeling good. And that's when you actually get rewarded, right? Things start going your way. Doors start opening in your life, right? And that's when you experience self-love, joy, happiness, peace. You feel good about yourself, right? You start radiating with these positive emotions. And that's your inner reality, right? And that changes your whole perception of the outside world, right? And that's what you only receive back. If your internal state's good, you're only going to attract more of it, right? If your internal state's negative, you're only going to attract negative things back into your life. So pay close attention to that. Now, your health. Being a man of purpose, you're going to be someone that's health conscious, looking after your health, right? Your physical health, your mental health. You're going to be more kind to yourself. You're going to respect your body a lot more. You're going to be cautious with the foods that you ingest. You're going to be more self-disciplined. So you're going to be healthier. Your test levels are also going to be more maintained because you're going to eat more whole foods that help boost your test levels, right? So your health's going to be better, making better food decisions, higher energy levels. You're going to be more aesthetically pleasing as well, right? Because the byproduct of looking after yourself internally with the right foods, respecting your body, the byproduct is building a lean aesthetic physique, right? That's basically a bonus that comes with eating good, clean food, having the right routines, right? The right training programs, and so forth. So you'll be more health conscious as a man with purpose, because you don't want to end up here with anxiety, depression, stress. And you know that exercise combats those mental health problems, right? So you're going to be someone that's more health conscious. Now let's go into relationships, okay? This is where it gets very interesting for a man with purpose. When you're a man of purpose, relationships, right? You're no longer going to be the lonely man, right? You're no longer going to be with a woman that's low value because you're operating with high frequency, self-love, gratitude, inner peace. You respect yourself, okay? You love yourself, you've got self-esteem, you've got charisma. You're only going to attract a higher quality woman in your life, right? A woman that resonates with you. And when you attract that particular woman, she's going to have GBD, which is genuine burning desire. Why? Because you're not going to make her the sole focus. Your focus is striving to be the best version of yourself, striving to upgrade your career and all those things, right? Your business, whatever it might be. She's not the sole focus. You don't have that empty void inside. And women love a man who's on a mission, a man who's got purpose, a man who's striving for more. That's what they're biologically hardwired to be attracted to. So the good thing is, being a man with purpose, you're a high value man, right? And you can more or less not only attract that woman, but you can maintain that relationship because you've got things going for you, okay? She's not the center of your world. So pay very close to that, right? And it gets even better. You get to have a family, right? You get to have a family. Think about it. You're a fit individual, right? You attract a woman who's also health conscious. She looks after herself. Then you have children, right? You're going to be the right role model to your children. You're going to be the right father figure. They're going to look up to you. You're going to be their superhero. So you're going to have a healthy, well-rounded family, okay? And your woman is also going to respect you a lot more. She's going to look up to you because you're setting the tone in the relationship. You're doing the right thing, right? You've got integrity, you've got character, you're looking after your health. So she's always going to want to be the best version of herself. So it rubs off on those closest around you, right? Pay close attention to that. Respect as well. Your kids are going to respect you. Your missus is going to respect you, right? Your close friends, your network, whatever it might be, they're all going to respect you. Why? Because you respect yourself. You show up for yourself. You're striving for more. You're playing the long-term game, right? So respect is a big thing, and having self-respect is huge. Now, career and lifestyle, you're going to love what you do, okay? Being a man with purpose, You might start at the bottom of whatever career it is, but at the end of the day, you're going to work yourself up, right? You're going to be good talking with people. When you have, interviews, you're going to be able to sell yourself a lot more because you're in shape. Mentally, you're on point. You're eating good foods, right? You're sharp. You've got charisma. You've got self-love, gratitude, inner peace. So you're going to be striving for more. You're going to get high positions, right? And you're going to be able to do something that you're more passionate about, or even business, right? You might want to start a business, and that's your passion, and you'll kill it in that area, right? So your career will completely change. You'll be striving for more. You'll also be making a lot more money, right? You don't have to live this way where you're frugal with your money and just kind of, worrying about where $1 is going, $2 going. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in a position where you've got more money. You're more financially stable, right? You've got more security. And therefore you can use that money, right, by being a man with purpose, to enjoy life, to travel, see the world, take your family out, take your family to restaurants, take your family to Disney World, whatever it might be, right? You're able to use that money from your career, your business, to enjoy life, right? Because you've got one life. Your life is not to be stuck in a cubicle at a job you hate, right? Living an average, mundane life. You want to be doing something that you're hugely passionate about, something that also pays you well so you can travel the world, so you've got a bit of freedom. Maybe your job's going to allow you to work remotely, right? It all depends on whatever sort of avenue you take, but at the end of the day, just understand that living a life on your terms, doing something you're passionate about with your career, that business, whatever it might be, is the only way to live as a man, right? So please let this sink in. A life filled with purpose compared to a life being average. And just understand at this point here that you're at right now, you can have this, right? The only thing that is stopping you from achieving that life or having a life filled with purpose, love, abundance, all those things, right, is what's called this SP, your subconscious programming, okay? And this is the reason why you're in this position. This is the reason why I was in this position as well. A lot of guys are in this position because of this program. So I want you to pay attention to this, right? This is the programming from when you were born, let's say all the way through to death, right? This is this red line here. Now the black indicates the conditioning, your belief system that you've inherited from those closest around you, right? From the time you were born. So your parents, your teachers, your social circle, right? Those closest around you have conditioned you to have certain beliefs, right? And if those beliefs are not changed, you're going to carry across this life all the way through to here until you die, right? Nothing's going to change until you break this conditioning. That's the only way I was able to change my life completely around. This is what I also help my clients with, right? Ones that have, limited beliefs. These have to break this conditioning. This is crucial. This is the only way you're going to be able to tap into here, right? So your 20s, you've had this conditioning, right? And it's okay, because at the end of the day, our parents knew what they knew, right? And they've been conditioned by their parents. And unfortunately, we've inherited that, right, as a byproduct. But you can change that. Because if I wasn't going to change that conditioning, I was going to live a life like this, right, for the rest of my life. So I had to break this. And what you want is to literally break it here at this halfway point that you're at right now and recondition this, right? You want to replace this conditioning all the way through. And then that conditioning will allow you to tap into here, which is a life filled with purpose. So you might ask me, how can we break this conditioning? How do I break this limited mindset, this beliefs, right? That fear mindset. How do I break it? It starts with you reconstructing your character, okay? Your daily habits are your seed to a new life, your seed to growth. So you need to focus on your daily habits. That's what's going to allow you to rewrite the programming, right? Repetition, having the right daily habits, repeating them, getting 1% better, building momentum, right? From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, all the positive habits that you have. And I'll do also in the future a more in-depth video on the subconscious programming, how to replace that particular programming that's been inherited since the time you were born. Because it's not that hard to do, right? But it does require the right certain daily habits to override that programming. And when you break that programming, that's when you feel free. That's when you have that aha moment where your perception of the world is totally different, right? And a lot of things make more sense, okay? But the sad thing here is a lot of people don't break this programming. and they just live a very miserable existence because the beliefs that they inherited from the time they were born, because they didn't fix it, they carry it across till death, right? And that's where you live a sad, miserable existence, which is this life right here. So at the end of the day, you want to focus on recreating yourself, right? Rebuilding a character through your daily habits, repetition. And this is what's going to allow you to completely recreate yourself, rebuild your life, right? Step into a life filled with purpose, a life where you're striving for more. And that's exactly what worked for me. This is exactly what I help my clients do as well. So at the end of the day, you need to shift that identity, right? Because the old version of you, that old operating system, has gotten you to where you're at right now, okay? You can only learn from the past, from the mistakes, and make yourself better, right? So it's all about shifting that identity, recreating yourself into a new person, creating a new identity, but the old one must go, right? That must be a thing of the past, and you must rewrite that new chapter of your life with a new identity, right? That's the only way that you can step into that new lifestyle that you want to step into, right? So just understand that this is very important, because this is going to prevent you from getting here. But to rewrite the new programming, it's all done through your daily habits and destroying the old version of you. So look, at the end of the day, if you're in this position right now, the halfway point, you're in this category right here, okay? Just understand, you're not alone, right? I've been there myself. If you literally put your head down for the next 6 months and you got to work and you focused on shifting that identity, recreating yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, had the right daily habits, right, from the time you woke up to the time you go to sleep, and you followed that on a daily basis and you were consistent and you didn't focus on immediate results, you focused on the long-term game, you'd be able to undo the programming, right, in 6 months if you went all in. And you'd be able to do a lot of changes in 6 months. However, if you wanted to recreate yourself in 90 days, that's where I can come in, right? I can help you get those results in 90 days. This is what I help my existing clients do, right? I give them the right blueprint to follow. I hold them accountable. And we just reach weekly goals. We just get 1% better, 1% better, and it just accumulates. So I help men basically recreate themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, build that purpose, tap into this category right here, experience high frequency. And this is when their life truly shifts, right? So everything's all done through actions, okay? Through those right daily habits. And that's when you start to feel those feelings of self-love, gratitude, inner peace, joy, right? You no longer have that empty void. You're no longer desperate for a relationship. You're no longer stuck in a position where you settle for less in your career. You need to turn to the character, right? Your character is literally the key to moving forward in your life, right? Because if this person's lacking, then your external world's going to be lacking, right? So you need to understand that it all starts with character construction, and that's what I can help you do. I can help you do this in 90 days. We get to work straight away, and we'll get there in 90 days, 100% guaranteed, right? Because I'm the right person that knows how to push my students, my clients to get those results. Why? Because I've been in that position before. Right? I've been there. I've been in your position right here, lost, confused. But it took me a longer time to figure out everything because I had no one to guide me, right? So at the end of the day, I can help you get there in 90 days. You can just click the link down below. You can book a free call and we can see if we can work together or not. But other than this, look, if you're new to my channel and you got some sort of value from this video, please click the subscribe button. It really helps me, keep making more valuable content. I only make content based upon what's worked for me, pain points that I've been through in the past. So if you resonate with me, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, then that's okay. Thank you for watching. But more or less, look, if you like the video, give it a like. It always helps the algorithm. I'm a very small channel, so I'm just trying to grow my channel. I'm just trying to get my message out there to those that need it. But yeah, man, comments, please drop it down below, right? I read every single comment. If you're in a position where you're right here at this current time, right? You're living that average life. You need that. You feel stuck. You want to speak to someone, right? You don't really have many friends. It's fine, right? Drop it down in the comments. Share what you're going through right now. And I'll respond to you, man. I'll give you my attention. I'll give you any advice that I can give you through the comment. But I'd love you to share your comments down below. It can always help other people as well. But more or less, look, man, I'm just going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and look, I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.